What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another great episode of Tough Calls with Symone and
your boy Dylan. Yeller.
So today on Tough Calls, we're making some toughish calls, about Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. One young quarterback got paid hefty.
Boy, what?
These past couple of weeks, and one quarterback just couldn't get his deal done.
Yeah, so obviously we know Patrick Mahomes signed that huge 10-year deal. And man, I just want to say this real quick. Patrick Mahomes,
Can I hold $1?
Just give me like some of your signing bonus.
Just let me scratch some of that.
I don't even need the whole signing bonus, bro. I don't even gotta touch your contract. I just need a little bit of that signing bonus. Just about maybe half, 25% of that signing bonus. So just throw a little bit my way, trying to pay off these student loans or whatever. But that's besides the point. All right. Dak Prescott. They tried to get a deal done today, but waited until the last minute and the deadline cut him off.
Yeah, so we guys know that Dak Prescott has been on the franchise tag. We know that he's been, holding out, trying to get a long-term deal that he believes is worth his time on the field. We all know that the Cowboys took forever to get Ezekiel Elliott's deal done, so no surprise that they took to the last minute to get Dak Prescott, and they could not, get Dak Prescott to agree to the deal in time. So basically what the report was, they were saying, so Jane Slater, a reporter for NFL Network, she tweeted, "I'm told that the Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott was involved at the last minute in an effort to get a long-term deal done, but it was up against the 3 p.m. deadline per source informed. The deal, she said, was between $33 and $35 million annually, included a $50 million signing bonus and $70 million over the first 2 years. She was told that Dak wanted the deal, but they just couldn't get all the entanglements, untangled by 3 p.m.
Now, one thing I do want to say, they might have got the numbers straight. There's a lot of verbiage, that players are very particular, players, agents, and, obviously ownership are very, touchy about, verbiage in contract, the fine print, as we like to say. So maybe that was the issue. Maybe it wasn't so much the number, but still, you hate to see it.
Exactly. So really the whole conversation has been going around, is the Cowboys in the right? Is Dak in the right? Is Cowboys in the wrong? Is Dak in the wrong? Really, I believe nobody's in the right or wrong. Everybody has their best interest at heart.
Right.
Dak, respectfully wants as much money as he can get out. He just couldn't get that much money out of the Cowboys, but there's nothing wrong with wanting to squeeze out as much money as you can out the man. Y'all know y'all do it at y'all jobs. And then on the Cowboy side, they want to see, before they, get entangled in a long-term deal with Dak, they want to make sure that he is, what they need to go to the next level. We've seen over the past decade that the Cowboys can't get over the hump. They got rid of Jason Garrett. They brought in a new coach, so they're trying to see, was it the coach? Is the coach the issue? They brought in CeeDee Lamb. Okay, we brought in another threat to our wide receiver arsenal. So, they want to test and see, could Dak, be the factor that's not able to get us over the hump? The Cowboys have not been great in these last years. The Cowboys were 1-6 against playoff teams last season. The Cowboys did not even beat a real team. Let's not forget that they gave the Jets their first win last season. Their first win came from the Cowboys. They were 1-6 against playoff teams, and guess what team they got that one win from? Us, the Eagles. We gave y'all that one win. That one win barely even counts because it's a division game, a division rivalry game. You're going to split. You know what I mean? So it's not even like they upset somebody for that one win.
To give y'all some substance, y'all know how good, I guess, or whatever y'all want to call them, good the New Orleans Saints were last year. They were a playoff team. We beat them in New Orleans, which is a tough place to play. The Falcons, who were 7-9 last year, we beat our rival in New Orleans at their spot. So just to give you some substance, when it comes to a rivalry game, anything can happen. So y'all can push that one playoff win out the window, because like Symone said, when it comes to rivals, anything can happen.
Exactly. So they only beat one playoff team last season, and it was us, and we already know a rivalry game is else up.
Exactly.
So just to put some things into perspective, Carson Wentz, since y'all love to compare Carson and Dak, I don't know if Dak has like Carson's contract in his mind, but Carson Wentz is making around $32 million a year. Okay, it's only a couple of quarterbacks above Carson. So Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins, and Carson Wentz made more than Dak Prescott last season. There's only two guys on my list that I can see Dak petitioning for making more than, and that's Jared Goff and Kirk Cousins.
Yep. And
that brings up a whole nother question. I understand the market. You want to get, what the market is, what the going rate is. These quarterbacks are getting huge contracts that they might not deserve. But okay, just because Kirk Cousins got away with it, and just because Jared Goff got away with it, that doesn't mean that they deserve those contracts either. Dak, if you got a $40 million contract, you didn't deserve it. Kirk doesn't deserve his. Jared doesn't necessarily deserve his, but they got it. They got lucky. You didn't get lucky there.
Jared rode the coattails of Todd Gurley that year they went to the Super Bowl. He got his contract that year afterwards. Rode the coattails of Todd Gurley. He was that team, okay? And Kirk Cousins, he just had good leverage. That whole incident with the Redskins being on the franchise tag for like 3 years or something like that. So he just had leverage, and the Minnesota Vikings were in desperate need of a contract. And Kirk Cousins at that time was the only answer. And even then, Kirk Cousins only got $80 million, even though it was all guaranteed, and that was the first fully guaranteed contract. Kirk Cousins still didn't deserve that money. The Minnesota Vikings were just in a position where they desperately needed a quarterback, and Kirk Cousins was the only worthy quarterback out there.
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely see where Dak is coming from, and I'm not saying Dak. I definitely don't think Dak is doing anything wrong. I just don't think the Cowboys are doing anything wrong either.
Right.
Dak sees these guys, like we said, Kirk, Jared, getting all this money, and these guys they're not Russell, they're not Patrick Mahomes, they're not when Lamar's contract and Deshaun Watson gets his contract, they're not those guys. And Dak sees them getting all that money. He says, hey, I can do what they can do.
Right.
I need that money too. But Dak, you just ran up against you. The Cowboys are finally being smart, and they're being smart at the worst time for you, because they're actually I hate the Cowboys, but they're doing the right thing.
They're not doing nothing bad.
Right? Why get entangled with Dak? He hasn't proved himself really. He has a juggernaut of an offense around him, a great offensive line, the offensive line literally ranked top 5 Pro Football Focus at the end of last season. So you got a top 5 offensive line, you got a top running back, you got a whole slew of weapons in your wide receiver arsenal, and you beat one playoff team, and it was us. So that you got a lot of proof. You got something to prove. You know what I'm saying? You gotta prove something. You gotta let us see something more.
You better hop on your little baby with that something to prove. You got something to prove, dog.
Cause honestly, I would love to see Dak get, the Cowboys get all tied up in Dak, and then Dak is not their guy, and they can't do nothing with him.
Right.
But the Cowboys actually being smart, and I hate to see it.
Yeah, for once. I mean, Jerry Jones is using his brain, and he's not just throwing some money at a dude and making him a long-term deal. So he ain't pulling what he did with Tony Romo. I'll tell you that much. He not just like, here, Tony, you're my guy. Come on, you stay us. We're gonna sign you long term. Nah, he ain't doing that with Dak. And frankly, I ain't too mad.
And this is the perfect season to keep Dak Prescott on the franchise tag, because they're not able to have that off season that they usually would have if it wasn't for COVID. So let's say they sign him a long-term deal. This is the season to really see what he's capable of.
Right.
Okay, so now this new coach, they're not gonna have as much time to acclimate themselves or have a normal way of acclimating themselves. New coach, new wide receiver. They lost Byron Jones. They have a lot of questions to answer. They need to see, can he take them to the playoffs? They have a big challenge ahead. The Eagles, we improved on the 2 areas that really were our weakest points last season. So we improved on the wide receiver situation. We improved on our secondary situation. And even with our busted situations last year, we went to the playoffs over the Cowboys. So, they're seeing, the Eagles beefed up their defense, a defense we couldn't get over last season, even though they were, second string guys out there. We beefed up our wide receiver room. So now Dak has more, and we were the one team that gave them their win. So now Dak has so much more to prove. Can you get past the Eagles? Can you get past Carson Wentz?
Yeah, and I want to just piggyback off what you were saying about, this is the perfect season for the Cowboys to keep Dak on their franchise tag. It is, because this is not going to be a season where, maybe the best scheme wins, or, the team with the best chemistry wins. This is going to be a season where talent is going to have to take over. You're going to have to put the team on your back, especially for the first couple of games, because you're not going to have that chemistry with your wide receivers. The offensive line is not going to have that same continuity because they haven't had that practice together. A lot of things are going to be busted. A lot of things are going to be disjointed. So talent is going to have to take over. Talent is going to win you those first couple of football games. So Dak, if you got the talent, and if you got the talents, and if you got the tools to put your team over the top, you're going to have to put the team on your back, put on your Superman cape for those first couple of games. That's what's going to take. And if you can't do that, then I can't say the Cowboys are wrong for not giving you that deal.
Lastly, I just want to mention the fact that maybe the Cowboys are feeling like they have to learn from their mistakes from Tony Romo. You saw Des Bryant was tweeting and trying to compare Dak's situation to Tony Romo, saying the Cowboys are wrong. Y'all paid Tony several times, but paying Tony didn't pan out well for the Cowboys. It got them nowhere. So maybe they're saying, hold up, before we, put too much hype into this guy like we maybe did Tony, let's chill, take a step back, and see what he could do this season.
Let's just say Andy Dalton's gonna push you. Are you gonna be about it or not? We'll see.
Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think Dak should have got a long-term deal? Do you think he's gonna be a Cowboy, after this season? So many questions around, this whole situation.
Before we go, I want to say one last thing. Adam Schefter said something interesting in the video I watched. He said the only two quarterbacks to get put on a franchise tag, it was Kirk Cousins, and I forget what the other quarterback was.
How you gonna say, I got one more thing, you don't even know who the quarterback was?
Anyways, those two quarterbacks did not return to their team. Kirk Cousins did not come back to the Redskins, and the other quarterback didn't go back to their original team. So, is Dak Prescott gonna go back to the Cowboys? We're gonna find out.
Alright, like, comment, subscribe. Do what you do. Bye.